Super Kids. It's time for Would You Rather, BAM style, the ultimate game of big choices and wild adventures. Get ready to activate your body and your mind with the coolest questions ever. Want more epic games and adventures? Join us on BAM Kids. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and let's play. Would you rather explore the deep sea ocean, or would you blast off into outer space to visit brand new planets? If you'd choose the ocean, wave your arms like an octopus. If you'd rather zoom through space, pretend to blast off like a rocket. Would you rather find a hidden treasure chest full of gold and magical gems, or a mysterious portal that takes you to a whole new world? If treasure is your choice, pretend to dig for gold. If you'd rather jump through a portal, spin around and make a whooshing sound. Would you rather sail the 7 seas on a pirate ship or explore the jungle? If you'd choose the pirate life, give me your best R, matey. If you'd rather be a jungle adventurer, pretend to swing like Tarzan. Imagine being on a survival mission. Would you rather be stranded on a deserted island or travel through a scorching desert? If you'd rather explore the island, pretend to climb a palm tree. If you'd rather trek through the desert, wipe the sweat off your forehead. Time to pick your ride. Would you rather soar high above the clouds on the back of a giant eagle or dive deep into the ocean? If you choose the eagle, spread your arms and pretend to glide. If you'd rather ride a dolphin, wiggle like you're swimming. Would you rather step into an ancient Egyptian pyramid or embark on a quest through a dark medieval castle? If you choose the pyramid, pretend to dust off an ancient artifact. If you'd rather explore the castle, hold up an imaginary torch to light your way. Would you rather dive deep into the ocean to explore a lost underwater city, or float high above the earth to uncover a city hidden in the clouds? If you choose the ocean city, pretend to swim through the waves. If you'd rather visit the cloud city, stretch your arms and float like you're in the sky. Would you rather guide an expedition to the frozen North Pole or journey through the Amazon rainforest? If you pick the North Pole, pretend to shiver in the cold. If you choose the rainforest, make the sounds of jungle animals. Would you rather find a secret map that leads to a buried treasure chest, or uncover a hidden time capsule full of amazing things from the past? If you choose the treasure map, pretend to unroll a map and search for clues. If you pick the time capsule, pretend to open a mysterious box. Would you rather go back in time to see real dinosaurs, or leap into the future to visit incredible space cities? If you choose dinosaurs, stomp like a T-Rex. If you'd rather explore space, pretend to float in zero gravity. Would you rather be stranded on an island with only a backpack, or lost in the jungle with just a flashlight? If you choose the island, pretend to search your backpack for supplies. If you pick the jungle, shine your imaginary flashlight ahead. Would you rather hike through the deep and colorful Grand Canyon or climb all the way to the top of a powerful volcano? If you choose the Grand Canyon, step carefully and climb over the big rocks. If you pick the volcano, feel the heat and wipe the sweat from your forehead. Would you rather explore a cave full of glowing crystals or one with underground waterfalls? If you pick the crystals, pretend to shine a flashlight around. If you choose the waterfalls, cup your hands like you're catching water. Would you rather be a famous treasure hunter or a world-famous mountain climber? If you choose treasure hunting, pretend to dig up a treasure chest. If you'd rather climb mountains, act like you're scaling a steep cliff. Would you rather have a magical compass or a book that reveals every mystery in the world? If you choose the compass, pretend to hold it and follow its direction. If you pick the mystery book, act like you're flipping through pages of secrets. Would you rather be the first person to set foot on Mars or discover a brand new island? If you choose Mars, pretend to float in zero gravity. If you pick the island, shade your eyes and look around for land. Would you rather be able to swim effortlessly like a fish or climb like a monkey? If you pick swimming, pretend to glide through the water. If you choose climbing, act like you're swinging on a vine. Would you rather dive to the bottom of the deepest ocean or journey to the center of the earth? If you choose the ocean, pretend to put on a scuba mask. If you pick the Earth's core, act like you're digging down. Would you rather survive in the jungle or braving Antarctica's freezing cold and icy landscapes? If you choose the jungle, make the sound of your favorite jungle animal. If you pick Antarctica, pretend to shiver in the cold. Would you rather find a lost civilization or discover an entirely new species of animals? If you pick the civilization, pretend to dust off an ancient artifact. If you choose the animals, act like you're taking notes on a new discovery. Would you rather have the power to teleport anywhere instantly or wear an indestructible adventure suit that protects you on any journey? If you choose teleportation, pretend to disappear and reappear. If you pick the suit, flex your muscles like you're ready for anything. Would you rather be part of a space mission or find a secret portal leading to an entirely different dimension? you choose space, pretend to put on a space helmet. If you pick the portal, act like you're stepping into a magical doorway. Would you rather soar high in a hot air balloon or dive deep in a submarine? If you'd pick the balloon, spread your arms and pretend to float. If you'd rather be in a submarine, pretend to look through a periscope. Would you rather explore the winding Amazon River or dive into the Great Barrier Reef? If you pick the river, paddle an imaginary canoe. If you choose the reef, pretend to swim like a fish. Would you rather be able to speak every human language or understand what every animal is saying? If you choose languages, pretend to have a conversation with someone new. If you pick animals, act like you're listening to a talking parrot. Would you rather have a jetpack to soar through the sky or an all-terrain vehicle that can go anywhere? If you choose the jetpack, pretend to blast off. If you pick the vehicle, pretend to steer through rough terrain. Would you rather carefully walk across a swinging rope bridge or zip line fast through the jungle? If you pick the bridge, balance carefully as you cross. If you choose the zip line, pretend to zoom through the trees. Would you rather camp in the rainforest or on a snowy mountain? If you pick the rainforest, pretend to set up a tent. If you choose the mountain, act like you're warming up by a fire. Would you rather dive into a haunted shipwreck or explore an abandoned ghost town in the desert? If you choose the shipwreck, pretend to swim through the ocean depths. If you pick the ghost town, act like you're brushing away dust from an old door. Would you rather walk through an enchanted forest or explore a futuristic city? If you pick the forest, pretend to pick up a glowing mushroom. If you choose the city, act like you're using a cool futuristic gadget. Would you rather go on a mission with superheroes or explore new lands with a brave team of adventurers? If you pick superheroes, strike a heroic pose. If you choose explorers, pretend to look through binoculars. Would you rather visit the past to learn about an ancient civilization or jump to the future and see what new inventions exist? If you pick the past, pretend to read an ancient scroll. If you choose the future, act like you're trying out a high-tech invention. Would you rather go whitewater rafting down a wild river or bungee jump off a huge cliff? If you pick whitewater rafting, pretend you're paddling through those crazy rapids. If bungee jumping is your choice, act like you're jumping off a cliff with the wind whooshing past you. Would you rather discover a new type of plant that glows or a rare gemstone with magical powers? If you choose the glowing plant, imagine how it lights up the dark forest. If you pick the magical gemstone, picture yourself holding something that grants you incredible powers. Would you rather live in a tree house in the jungle or an underwater home in the ocean? If you choose the treehouse, act like you're swinging through the jungle. If underwater is more your style, pretend you're swimming with colorful fish and exploring coral reefs. Would you rather be a world-famous deep-sea diver or the best rock climber in history? If deep-sea diving is your dream, pretend you're diving to the ocean floor. If you're more of a rock climber, imagine yourself reaching the top of the tallest mountain. Would you rather cross an icy glacier or trek through a scorching desert? If the icy glacier is your choice, act like you're bundled up in cold gear and crunching through snow. If the desert is calling, pretend you're walking through hot sand with the sun blazing. Would you rather have a pet falcon that can take you anywhere, or a giant tortoise that carries you on its back? If you pick the falcon, act like you're soaring through the sky. If the tortoise is your pick, imagine yourself slowly but steadily riding on its back. Would you rather explore an abandoned spaceship floating in space or a sunken city deep in the ocean? If the spaceship is your choice, imagine floating in space with stars all around you. If you prefer the ocean, picture yourself diving into an ancient city at the bottom of the sea. Would you rather discover a mountain made of gold or a secret cave filled with lost artifacts? If the mountain of gold excites you, imagine climbing it and finding treasure. If the secret cave is your choice, picture yourself uncovering ancient relics. Would you rather find a way to talk to aliens or talk to ancient people from the past? If you pick aliens, imagine communicating with creatures from another world. If you choose ancient people, pretend you're talking to someone from long ago. Would you rather travel the world on foot or sail across the oceans like a captain? If you're an explorer, pretend you're walking through lush forests and discovering new lands. If you're a captain, imagine sailing across vast oceans with the wind in your sails. Would you rather get caught in a giant sandstorm or a powerful blizzard? If you choose the sandstorm, pretend the wind is blowing sand all around you and you're fighting your way through. If the blizzard is your choice, act like you're bundled up in snow gear and pushing through the freezing winds. Would you rather swim through an underwater tunnel or crawl through a narrow cave? If you choose the tunnel, imagine yourself swimming in clear, cool water with fish all around. If the cave is your pick, pretend you're squeezing through narrow spaces in the dark. Would you rather discover a hidden oasis in the middle of the desert or an underground lake in a cave? If the oasis excites you, imagine finding a beautiful, cool spot with palm trees and water in the hot desert. If you prefer the underground lake, picture yourself discovering a hidden paradise deep below the ground. Would you rather visit a rainforest full of glowing plants or a canyon with hidden waterfalls? If the glowing plants are your choice, act like you're walking through a magical forest with glowing flowers and trees. If the canyon is calling, imagine exploring secret waterfalls in the deep, rocky gorge. Would you rather be the first person to climb an unexplored mountain or dive into an unknown ocean trench? If you're climbing the mountain, pretend you're scaling a peak no one's ever reached before, feeling the thrill of the climb. If the ocean trench is your choice, imagine plunging into the depths, discovering mysterious sea creatures. Would you rather escape from a maze filled with traps or solve a riddle that unlocks a secret passage? If you're in the maze, act like you're dodging traps and looking for the exit. If the riddle is your choice, pretend you're unlocking a hidden door with your clever thinking. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or be completely fireproof? If you pick breathing underwater, pretend you're swimming deep with the fish, exploring the ocean. If you choose fireproof, act like you're walking through flames without a worry. Would you rather go deep sea fishing for mythical sea creatures or search the mountains for legendary animals? If you're fishing, imagine reeling in a giant mythical sea creature from the depths of the ocean. If you're searching the mountains, picture yourself tracking legendary animals in the rugged terrain. That was a blast! Thanks for playing along! Want more fun games and adventures? Click the next video and keep the fun going. And don't forget to subscribe to BAM Kids so you never miss out. See you next time!